Oh, likes being up there, don't you, sweetie? Oh, you're welcome on the plot. You enjoy yourself. Find yourself some nice slugs. Good evening on a cooler night. Come down mostly for picking soft fruit. These are the raspberries. I found them originally when I got the plot strangled at the bottom. They must be a vintage variety. These ones possibly down on this site for decades, maybe even 60 years or so. But they've come good at the top of the plot here, protected here by the rubble netting. So a lot of work to do to pick these. End of the first week in July. One of my first tasks today after watering is picking some of these wonderful black currants. Again, a lot of spraying needed with milk and bicarbon detergent, and proper prunings to allow the younger greener branches to come up from the crown. But a decent crop. I've even had some from here and made some black currant jam today. Amongst the net we've put up and the bird scarers, it's improvisation down here. There's a nice crop of red currants on various points on the allotment, and so looking forward to that this year. This Dutch variety of red currant has cropped very well this year, 2018. As you can see, ripening away nicely in this glorious sunshine this week. It's only needed a tad of watering, but perfect for jams and jellies, and of course you can eat it raw with your cereals. Crunchy granola. I've just popped over to have a look at my Logan and Tayberries, and this year, despite it being very damp in the beginning, very happy. Ripening away, different times. This Granny Smith apple tree has been thinned out. I've missed a couple, as you can see. This one obviously, well, it's thinned itself out. I've got a few pears this year to look forward to, not as many as last year. Main thing is to keep the trees healthy. Sweet corn varieties, I've got Early Bird, which is the most vigorous I've got on the plots. I've got put this on a number of sites, and next to it we've got Seville, which is supposed to be cold resistant. Not as vigorous though, but it may catch up, and I've been feeding these with a comfrey tea which I've made myself from comfrey on the plot, which is fermenting away in a tub. This year I've put two varieties of squash. This one's called winter squash, and it's a sweeter variety, and it's also next to another squash variety here. They're just flowering now, and these are in the middle of my mini pops, which are doing okay after a bit of a struggle. And obviously these ones on this side are doing a bit better, and I'm putting the comfrey tea on these ones. I'll let you know which ones gives the better crop, because these mini pops, the two different varieties, this much taller variety are Unwins, and the other ones on the other side here are Johnson's mini pops, and they don't seem as vigorous, but let's see how they go on the cropping. I'm also trying a courgette out for the first time as well, next to some more Unwins mini pops. And this is my stringless beans, slowly climbing up the bean pole. Now down to 11 cabbages, and they're different varieties from a strip that came from Morrison's for a couple of quid. There were 12 and I lost just the one, and of course they were part of my cabbage competition. Doing well though now. This year I tried an experiment around my brassicas, my cabbages. I've been putting some rhubarb leaves around, sort of as a sacrificial bait, and I noticed yesterday the ants were tucking in, as you can see on this one, but I'd rather have them doing that than in on my crop. The crop is recovering. Even this one here nearest the camera, which was dying, is coming back again, and the netting, whilst quite effective, I'm going to have to stake it again, because even when the leaves are touching the netting, the butterflies will lay their eggs through netting. Just past this strange plant I've got called a ginkgo biloba, which has got medicinal uses. It's apparently a very ancient plant in terms of evolution and still going strong on planet Earth, is where I have some raspberries. Now these are a very strange variety because we have found they carry on fruiting even into autumn. They've got a nice spot where they basically get a whole swathe of sunshine from late morning right until late evening, and they're cropping on what is essentially about 8 feet of height, and we use lots of stakes to contain them if the branches get too heavy. And this is my eucalyptus. I've got 2 of these now. Very good for making antifungal treatments for plants. Also for humans, I believe, eucalyptus used. And also it's good to make a very simple insect repellent, which that's what I use my eucalyptus for. Besides which, I love how it looks. These are my 3 homemade remedies for fungal attack on fruit trees. Eucalyptus, and number 2 is the elderflower leaves with sage, and number 3 are the raw leaves of elderflower with some rosemary and sage, and they're to be rubbed on the bark. So let's see how they go on treating this blossom rot on the gauge. Fig cuttings, which are brown turkey, are now 1 year old. The parent tree in my garden has had some fruit this year for the first time for many years, but I followed Woody's advice, basically the pinching technique on the leader. So I've done it on this one already. You can see there's a leader on that one. You just a little pinch out at the top there, and then the milky sap comes out. As he says, be careful because it can be irritating. Looks like I'll be okay for medicinal chamomile this year. Look at this, how they've come up. Last year was a disaster with these, but the seeds have, well, the flowers have reseeded themselves. I'm starting to crop this now. You're supposed to dry it first to make it more potent. Here's half of the blackcurrant harvest just from tonight. That's just from 3 branches with trusses of blackcurrant. So very happy this year. You can't beat freshly made blackcurrant jam. I've just got to tighten the lids on these ones now, and they'll be all ready for storing. Well, that's it for now. As you can see, these Stanley plums ripening away in the late evening sunshine, early summer. Well, you can see that behind me, the sun's just grazing down on the horizon now, and I'll keep you updated as to my next adventures on the allotments. Well, you can hear that song thrush. Oh, he's got a lot to say for himself.